believe, people like David Bohm and Carl Pribram, believe that our universe is holographic and that we are part of that. And the beauty of a hologram, and this is why it's so powerful in the universe, is because every piece reflects every other piece. When a change is made in one place, that change is mirrored everywhere else. And that is believed to be the reason why those particles separated by 14 miles. The question is, it's a trick question. I ask our live audiences, I say, if they're separated by 14 miles, how did the signal that one particle was being disturbed reach the other one 14 miles away so quickly? How did that signal get there, or did it? And this is the trick. The signal doesn't have to travel. It's already there because it is entangled. And because of the holographic nature, the signal doesn't go anywhere. It's already everywhere all the time. This is why remote viewing works the way it works. When our consciousness moves, the language we use is that our consciousness moves from point A to point B. The truth is we simply tune our consciousness into that place, but we're not really going anywhere. And this is the power of this principle in our lives, when we can feel the feeling as if peace has happened in a woman's body, and her body mirrors that halfway across the room, and we can see it through the ultrasound. We know that principle works. And this is why, if our listeners are listening, I know people out there who've got loved ones in the battlefield of Iraq, half a world away, and you say, when I feel my prayer for my loved one, how does my prayer reach them on the other side of the earth? And the answer is, when you create that prayer in your heart, it's already there. You don't have to ship your prayer off anywhere. You can use your energy to feel the feeling as if your loved one is safe, and as if they're already healed, so that the field can mirror that back to you. And that's the power of this field, the way it works. And these are some examples, some of the experiments. We know the field is out there because of the way the experiments are working. And then I shared earlier in the evening, we know that when we have certain kinds of emotions, we're affecting that field through those emotions. So that's what the science is showing us. Anecdotally, we've always heard about indigenous people creating rainstorms over their village, or the miraculous healings, such as the one I described in the Medicineless Hospital, or a number of people feeling peace in the Middle East. While they were feeling that peace, all that could happen was peace. But the question is, and this is what scientists ask, George, they say, if this is so powerful, why is it that when the experiments stop, all those statistics reverse? When those practitioners in the Middle East stop feeling peace, why did all the statistics reverse and the terrorist activities begin again? And this is the crux of the irony that was left to us in those ancient texts, because what they described is this feeling isn't something that we do every once in a while when we want to change the world. It is something that we become. And we can hold these feelings throughout the day. It's not something that we stop and do for a few minutes in a prayer or meditation, and then we get up and leave, and the prayer meditation is over. If the abbot in the monastery in Tibet, he said to us, he said, feeling is a prayer. There's no words, no outward expression. A feeling is the prayer. Well, we're feeling in every moment of every day, so we're essentially in prayer. This is a modality of prayer, every moment of every day. And if that's true, we can feel that peace or that healing to some degree when we're driving down the freeway to work, or in our office place, or at the family dinner table, to the best of our ability. That is our workshop in life, to feel those feelings, even though the world around us may not always support or seem to support what it is that we're feeling.
Well, I was going to say, what are the practical ways then to use this in our day-to-day living?
Well, I know there are many modalities of prayer, and I've done programs on Coast to Coast where we've talked about these before. And what I'd like to say is that every mode of prayer is valid. It works. We all use them. Some prayers are called prayers of supplication, where we feel powerless, and we ask for help. We say, "Dear God, help me out here," or Archangel Michael, or whoever it is that's out there, and that's one way of looking at the world. This is another way of looking at the world, knowing that we are part of everything that we see, and because of that, we're part of the solution, and that We don't have to ask for help because we are the help. We may participate, as John Wheeler says. We may communicate with this intelligent field to bring about this outcome of healing or peace or abundance in our lives or whatever it is. The key is, and this is easier said than done, I know it is, because of our conditioning here in the West. The key is to feel the feelings as if our heart's desire or our prayer or what it is that we're choosing to experience has already happened. To feel as if the healing is already there in our loved ones, or if the peace has already happened at the family dinner table in our communities, to give that field. Remember, we're programs within this massive consciousness computer of the universe. So we've got to give that field something to work with. And the irony, and this is where I'll close this, and then we can talk about this some more, but if we really think about the universe as a computer, and if we think about what we're doing here, George, we're living in a world that very obviously is experiencing a tremendous amount of hate, of rage, and anger. And if we think of ourselves as software, we are literally healing the software from within the same program that created the hate and the anger. We're transcending the anger and the hate while we're still in the anger and the hate. It's analogous to a program rewriting itself from within the program without external intervention or external help, because the program has the intelligence to do that. And that's just an awesome way to think about what it is that we're experiencing here.
You know, the work you've done, how many years have you worked on this?
This is the result. I actually began working on this, George, when I was still an engineer with Martin Marietta Aerospace, and I did the first presentation in Denver, Colorado in 1986. And since that time, it's taken me 20 years sharing these concepts. And you and I, we're talking about this a little differently than the way we do in the book or the way I might in some audiences, but it's taken me 20 years through audiences all over the world, and many of them through translators, to find a language to share these very profound concepts in a way that's meaningful and hopefully in a neutral language. This isn't about religion, although I can see where religions were built around the power and the wisdom of what we're talking about. But this force was there, the field was there long before religions were ever there, and our ability to communicate with this field has been with us since we arrived roughly around 200,000 years ago. So we've always had the language. Religions came along and wrapped themselves around the power of what it means for us to have direct access to the creative energy of our universe for healing, peace, abundance, and I think that's what this time in history is all about. We're recognizing that we are a family, that cooperation is going to get us a lot further than competition, especially for resources on our planet, and that war, I believe we're outgrowing the habit of using war to solve our differences, and then the question is, will we learn that lesson before this next great war?
I'm not sure if we are outliving it, to tell you the truth. I think there are too many people who just don't get it, Greg.
I think what will happen, I agree with what you're saying, and I can see where you would say that, George. There are two forms of, two perspectives of consciousness that I'm seeing happening right now. And there's an old way of solving problems using military solutions and force, and there is a very powerful global current, and you really see this when you leave North America, of people who have recognized that while we may not always agree with one another, that cooperation is going to get us a lot further than competition. And both of those things are happening simultaneously. And because of the way this field works, because of the hologram, because of the entanglement, because of the connectedness, I think it's going to be kind of like what we saw at the end of the Cold War. We knew some things were going on. We were using military strength to buy ourselves some time. And on the other hand, there were people that were working from a very different perspective to change things. And we'll never know everything that happened. From working with the military, I know that we never have all the information.
See, I agree with you when you say we're always in it.